this could be the debate all video long, but I am choosing the 700Cs. Hello and welcome back to Bike Vids. I want to give you a quick breakdown of my bike setup for Rock Cobbler 9.0, the 2022 Rock Cobbler, a very strenuous gravel race event, and being comfy and having the right bike setup is important, question mark. I will tell you how I'm setting up the bike, and I also will tell you about the elephant in the room. I've got the Bike Vids database out because I do have the benefit of having done the Rock Cobbler last year. You could watch my video on the bike setup for that. So this year we'll start, of course, with tire choice. Complicated a little bit because last year, days before the Cobbler, I had just set up these 650B wheels from Scribe with WTB Ventures in 47 millimeters. I had just set them up and hadn't really ridden them at all, and I chose not to use them on the Cobbler, going with my 700C wheel set. And what am I gonna do this year? Smaller wheel, wider tire, bigger wheel, less wide tire. What am I gonna do? I think I'm going with the 700C. So here are my 700C wheels. Nice wheels from Boyd, but I think a little, not maybe as nice as the Scribe wheels. And I'm gonna go with the 700C. Mounted on them already are some 40 millimeter WTB Rattlers, which is for sure my cyclocross and off-road 700C tire of choice. And so I'm gonna go with the 700C setup featured here. I think a big part of that decision is the Cobbler is a very difficult long day of riding, but the terrain is mostly kind of rolling type of hills, some sandy stuff, but not the type of technical mountain terrain, for example in the Santa Cruz mountain trails or single track, that I feel like the 650Bs with the fatties works better on. And so I think for a little bit of a faster, smoother race, I think the 700Cs are gonna be just fine, whereas I might feel a little bit slowed down on some of the rolling part, some of the road part with the 650Bs. So looking in the Bike Vids database, I'll tell you about one major change to the bike setup to the Ibis this year, and that is the addition of this Garbaruk 1046 wide range cassette. I'm still running a 38 tooth chainring up front on my Praxis cranks, and that 46, opposed to the SRAM 1142 workhorse cassette that I was running last year, that 46 is gonna help out a lot, especially towards the end of the event when you start to get a little bit tired. And I'm looking in the database. For some reason, going into the event last year, I thought it was 6,800 feet of climbing, but afterwards I clocked 8,200 feet of climbing. My mistake, or some weird trick from the Rock Cobbler organizers, which is quite possible, but there's going to be a lot of climbing in, you know, 70 miles or so of riding. And I definitely remember some pitchy climbs towards the end where I feel like this 46 tooth is gonna be really nice to have. Before we get to the elephant in the room, the only other thing I think for a bike setup that I wanna try to do or try to remember to bring is my little front handlebar burrito bag. Probably to literally put in a breakfast burrito or something that I make for the ride. I'd like to get some of that food and snacks off me during the course of the event. If you follow some of the stuff here at Bike Vids, you'll know that I don't like to you know, gorge on a lot of the rest stop food. If they do have food or snacks at rest stops, I would rather just bring as much of my own food as possible. I could have, you know, I tend to sometimes have a sensitive stomach. I also have a food allergy, and so I want to bring as much of that stuff as possible. So throwing that in a handlebar bag, maybe you have a small frame bag, throwing that in there, clearing off stuff in your jersey, I think is also going to be a good plan for me in the Cobbler this year. Are you guys ready for the elephant in the room? I love talking about this stuff. I love posting about this stuff. What kind of tires should I use for this? What kind of tires should I use for that? All these things. Elephant in the room, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We're doing this recreationally. I do think that the Cobbler is a race, or at least they do give you, you know, your place, but it doesn't matter. We're not professional racers. If you are a professional racer, you know what tires you should be using. You don't need to watch Bike Vids for that information. You don't need to post about it and all of the stuff that we do in gravel forums and all that stuff. We do this, non-professional racers, we do it because it's fun to go down the rabbit hole. It's fun to think about what tire I should use and you know, what wheel choice I should use. I could ride my 650Bs, it would be fine. And so it doesn't really matter. If your bike is working and you're working, you're gonna have a great event. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. In last year's Cobbler, I think my moving time was about 6 hours and 20 minutes. I think my elapsed time was a little bit under 7 hours. It's a long, hard day of bike riding. And none of those feelings, or at least anything measurable, had to do with whether I went with the WTB Radlers or the WTB Nanos or Panaracer SKs. None of that had to do with that. It had to do with my attitude. It had to do with my overall health and fitness. And it had to do with the fact that it's a challenging event. And I'm just, you know, a recreational rider out trying to have fun. So these differences that we talk about so much because we love to talk about it, they don't really matter. Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. Hope you guys are doing awesome. If for some reason you're watching this and you see me at the Cobbler, say hello. I'm looking forward to it. And ciao.